Good morning, it's Pastor Marty from the Afternoon Drive. Now, don't let the title throw you. No, I don't want to imply that President Trump and Nancy Botox Pelosi are somehow working together. But they are both on offense right now. I love how Matt Drudge likes to spin his headlines because he's an anti-Trumper. You know, he claims to be one of those conservative purists. Matt Drudge would have no platform whatsoever if it wasn't for us conservatives, but because we didn't get the kind of conservative he wanted, i.e., your typical conservative, the Mitt Romney, Marco Rubios, the guys that, you know, can speak eloquently about conservatism, but don't actually govern that way. George W. Bush, aside from his foreign policy fiasco and the wars that will not end, and the fact that, well, it enriched his buddy Cheney through the no-contest Halliburton contracts. Always follow the money. Bush was also inept at actually running the country when it came to the economy. It tanked under him because the Republicans, who were running everything at that time, spent money like drunken sailors and Democrats. They did. That is the truth. All these people that run as Christian conservatives and right to life and we've got your values and we need to be fiscally responsible, they get to Washington and they go on a drunken spending orgy. It's what they do. And it's the reason Donald Trump got elected. The base was tired of being lied to every 2 years during congressional cycles, every 4 years for a presidential cycle, every 6 years for a Senate cycle, tired of having people show up for town halls and telling us what we want to hear and kind of patting us on the head, and then getting to Washington and going to the same parties, the same social events as their liberal counterparts, and they're all cutting and making their backroom deals, and they're all spending money we don't have, spending money, allocating this, allocating that, and just, it's gone bat crap crazy. And along came Donald Trump, and we put him in office, and you cannot deny he's been great for the economy, but I know many on the Trump supporters were getting a little concerned, we're not like Ann Coulter the day after he was sworn in. Where's the wall? You know, she's bipolar. Ignore her. She has issues. Most of them are mental. A few of them are female, and she can't help it. But Ann Coulter is a nutcase, and just, you know, ignore Ann. My issue with Trump on the border, up to this point, I am a staunch Trump apologist. I was the first one in talk radio to endorse Donald Trump for president. I endorsed him the day he took the escalator ride. I was looking over our cast of Republican hopefuls, and I'm thinking, really? This is what we got? Come on. Marco Rubio, Chris Christie, Jeb, come on. And, I mean, Ted Cruz is just, you know, I'm glad he was able to fend off Beto. We certainly don't want Beto having any influence in Texas. But Ted Cruz really nationally, his little nasal, whiny voice, and he looks like, without his beard, he looks like Grandpa Munster from the Munsters. I mean, you know, come on. Come on. So when Donald Trump was giving his speech, I just said to him, like, yes, this is going to be the greatest primary ever. This will be epic. And my other conservative counterparts in radio were like, oh, Donald Trump? Well, we don't know. I mean, even Rush was holding back. Of course, you know, it's when Glenn Beck lost all of his conservative credentials, the way he went not only all in for Ted Cruz on a biblical proportion, because God had picked Ted Cruz. Then, when Donald Trump became the nominee, Glenn Beck did everything he could to work against us. Went on the Samantha Bee show. We're going to have to get ready for the total destruction and implosion of America. I mean, and he did this stupid thing with Samantha Bee about, I'm Charlie Brown and you're Lucy holding the football and I'm about to kick it and you're going to pull it away from me. Like, you really are sick. You got problems and probably ought to be in some type of addiction recovery program, never to be heard from again. But, you know, go away. But once Trump got in, and it was evident that he has governed very conservatively. Come on, Matt Drudge. Where's some support now? Huh? Huh? All right, where's the wall? Ask Paul Ryan. Ask the Republicans who were in charge. The Republicans, this is what doesn't get hammered enough. The Republicans didn't want the wall any more than the Democrats do. But now the polls all indicate that not only are the majority of Americans wanting real border security because they're beginning to find out the Democrats lied to them, it's not a manufactured crisis, it's the real deal. Because now all of a sudden that's the way the media is presenting it. See, the Mueller thing blew up on them. Because before, when the Mueller thing was going on, why the president's creating this false crisis, now that they're acknowledging we got a real problem, they're acknowledging it because Trump hasn't done anything. It's his #1 issue. And they want Trump supporters to pull back from him. No. The only thing I got upset with Trump about was when he inferred over the weekend it could be up to a year more waiting. What? No. Wrong answer. And he knows that. And he's got his reasons for saying that. The firing of Kristen Nielsen, I know, the woman who put children in cages and she'll never get a job again. I mean, the media's just tearing her to shreds. The truth is, the president would lay out an agenda for her and border security, national security to act on, and they didn't. That's the big unreported story here. They didn't. She ignored the directives of the president. That's why she's out. And someone new is coming in. And I think you're about to see some real action. You just keep watch. Wait. I'm telling you, the president's got this. It's going to be okay. But Nielsen's gone because she virtually ignored presidential directives. Mark it down. And all of us children in cages hogwash, those were all pictures from the Obama era. That has been proven and reproven, but yet the narrative is still, Trump put children in cages. Trump put children in cages. No, Barackmas Obamamus did. Now, Nancy's on offense. Pelosi. I did a video about a month ago when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the artist now known as AOC, formerly known as HIV, she started having trouble when it was discovered that her chief of staff, who was at one time her campaign manager, over $1 million in campaign donations have been shifted to this account, to that account, and nobody knows really where it went. And so now the Federal Elections Commission has stepped in and said, we got some illegal activity going on here. And I said that story leaked by Nancy Pelosi's directive. Because up to that point, the media was in love with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. This was the old guard. I know you look at Nancy Pelosi and she looks like an escapee from Jurassic Park. I get it. I get that when she stands to speak in front of people, she stumbles and stammers and sometimes is a little bit incoherent. Could be a little dementia there, don't know. But she's an old Democrat warhorse. And she knows how this game is played behind the scenes when the cameras aren't around. And AOC is sucking the oxygen not only out of the room, but she is hard shifting left this party. And you're hearing people. Even Barackmas Obamamus comes out of retirement the other day and says, hey, let's not form a circular shooting gallery here where we're shooting at each other. He knows you're going too hard left, and mainstream America especially, yes, believe it or not, the Democrats really do need white people. We can't be the villains for everything. And if white males pull away from the Democrats, they're done. See, that's the big secret. Even Joe Biden understood that the last election cycle. Why weren't we going after the working class? Now he's pandering hard left because he's got a Me Too problem. But Nancy is working very hard to take out AOC. She got to go. So the social justice Democrats, which launched AOC, they've actually now pulled away from and have shoved out AOC's chief of staff and AOC herself because, wait a minute, we were supposed to be about purity and integrity and transparency, and now you've absconded the money? Where do you think that's coming from? Nancy's playing offense. I love how she was giving an interview with the USA Today, and they were basically asking her about, do you think that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's got a big following, is this helping the Democrats, is it hurting? And she says, well, you can have a big following on Twitter, but that doesn't translate to big votes on the floor. Boom! She was telling her, listen, you little rock star wannabe, you may have 4 million followers on Twitter. You may have people that watch you get into a drunken stupor with wine on Instagram or Snapchat as you're talking about, how your Green New Deal is not a failure and it is economically viable, and you can get guys like Chris Hayes to, have you on a town hall, which was really an AOC rally, and everybody going, hoo, 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 hoo. It's like watching the old Robert Downey Jr. show. And then you get American history wrong, like, well, the Republicans stopped Franklin Roosevelt from having another term in office. No, sweet pea. He died. The guy died in office. Duh. And it was 6 years after he was dead, the Constitution was ratified to put a term limit on the presidency. The 22nd Amendment happened 6 years after FDR died. You make an ass out of yourself every time you open your mouth and talk things that you should have learned in a government civics class that apparently you skipped. And Nancy knows that you are an embarrassment to the hardcore Democrats that they still need to win elections. The whole country hasn't shifted your hard left yet. They're on their way. They ain't there yet. And you don't know when to back off. Nancy says, I have to tell my own people in San Francisco who don't think I'm progressive enough. Look, you elect 218 people that think like we do here in San Francisco, I can get something done. But until that happens, she's not wrong about that. But it's great. The president's on offense. Bye-bye, Kristen, however she says her name. Just put a J in there for some reason. Are we in Scandinavia? Anyway. Next person in, going to act on Trump policy. Oh, and then, of course, President Trump fires the director of the Secret Service. How could you let a Chinese woman who wants to blow things up and kill me onto Mar-a-Lago? How did that happen? We had nothing to do with it. Yeah, well, the president knows there have been people, even with his own administration, working against him, trying to take him out through a soft coup, and now maybe even trying to take him out. And Nancy's on offense now. You're about to see AOC go bye, 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 bye. And it's going to happen sooner rather than later because they got to get her off the screen and out of the way as they start to really get into the 2020 campaign cycle. And the idea is get rid of AOC, cut the head off the snake, and maybe some of these lunatics that are running for the presidency on the AOC platform will come back in line. Oh, by the way, there's another member to the Democratic clown car for the presidency, and I'm not even going to talk about it today. That's it. That's my rant for this Tuesday. Subscribe to the channel. Please spread word of this channel. Get the news out there that we're here doing what we do, and hit the bell so that you get notification of my next rant.